The IRS just announced the contribution changes for 401k, 403b, thrift savings plan, and most 457 plans for the year 2024. And I've been doing this job for a while, and it's usually not every single year that the IRS raises the contribution limits for the employer retirement plan.
Ooh, I can't wait.
And it wasn't until 2017 that I truly started maxing out my 401k contribution when the employee contribution limit was $18,000. The catch-up contribution back in the days for people over the age of 50 was $6,000. And just keep in mind that at any time I mention the name 401k, it's going to apply to the 403b, 457, and TSP. Almost every year since then, with the exception of 2020 and 2021, the contribution limit has increased by $500 annually on average. If you look at the big jump from 2021 to 2022, that's a $1,000 increase from $19,500 to $20,500. And if you look at 2022 and 2023, that's a $2,000 increase from $20,500 to $22,500. That's because the inflation rate was at a 40-year high. And the catch-up contribution is even more rare because it's only increased twice since 2017 from $6,000 to $7,500 in 2023. And starting in 2024, the 401k contribution limit is going to increase from $22,500 to $23,000. This will also apply to the 403b, TSP, and most 457 plans. Now, I understand that it's not easy to max out the employer-sponsored retirement plan. As a matter of fact, only about 1 in 7 retirement savers manage to max out the 401k contribution limit, which is also step 7 of my financial independence checklist. And you can download my financial independence checklist and other resources for absolutely free by visiting firesightshare.com/resources. And I also recently launched a brand new website where you can sign up for a free membership and you do not need a credit card to apply whatsoever.
What did he just say?
For those of you who are looking to achieve financial independence, the increase in the contribution limit is always good news for us because we get to grow our retirement investments more than the year before. Unfortunately, the catch-up contribution limit for those over the age of 50 will remain the same at $7,500. So that will be a total of $30,500 starting on January 1st, 2024. And I know some of these retirement vehicles are very difficult to understand because we were never taught this in high school or in the household. And I already talked about the Roth IRA contribution limits for 2024 in a separate video, but that is completely separate from the employer-sponsored retirement account like the 401k, 403b, 457, or TSP. And I know some of you guys in the comment section tell me why I have to explain every single time. And that's because I get these same questions in my comment section all the time. If you work in the private sector, you should have a retirement plan called a 401k. If you don't have a 401k or any sort of employer-sponsored retirement account, then the other option is really just an IRA or HSA. An employer without a retirement plan is not really worth working for, in my honest opinion. And if you have a 403b, you're most likely someone working in a nonprofit organization like a public school, ministry, hospital, or charity. And if you're a state or local government employee, you're going to have the option to invest in what's called a governmental 457 plan. This is on top of the state or local pension that you already have. This is pretty common for police officers, firefighters, and other civil servants working for the state and local government. And if you work in a nonprofit organization with a 403b, your plan could give you the option to invest in a non-governmental 457 plan. Some tax-exempt employers even offer both 403b and 457 so that you can contribute to both. So be sure to contact your employer to find out if both plans are available to you, because that could be twice the retirement that you could save for. And if you're a civilian employee for the federal government or a member of the armed forces like the Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, Navy, Marines, or Army, then you're going to have what's called a thrift savings plan or TSP. And I've made a lot of videos and experience with the TSP, so be sure to check out my TSP playlist if that applies to you. I also have a 401k playlist that you can check out. Your personal contribution, or what's called an employee contribution limit, is set to $23,000 for the year 2024. This is between January 1st, 2024 until December 31st, 2024. Once 2024 hits, you can't go back to 2023 to try to max that year out. It's not the same as that Roth IRA or HSA. And if you're over the age of 50, you have what's called a catch-up contribution in the amount of $7,500. This will also increase based on inflation, but it doesn't happen very often. And under Secure Act 2.0, which got signed into law last year, starting in 2025, people between the ages of 60 and 63 can contribute an additional $10,000 to the 401k, 403b, 457, or TSP. So for your personal contribution, you can do either traditional or Roth. And some plans only offer traditional, but some plans offer both traditional and Roth. And traditional means that you're reducing your taxable income now, but you'll end up paying taxes later when you start taking distributions. And if you choose Roth, then you're going to pay taxes now and you won't pay taxes when you take distributions in retirement. And what's right for you will depend on your marginal tax rate, your personal preference, and your entire financial situation. So you should get with a CPA to decide if traditional or Roth is right for you, or maybe a combination of both. And also starting in 2026, if your income is over $145,000, the catch-up portion of your contribution for either $7,500 or $10,000 has to go into the after-tax or Roth account. This is kind of a secret way for the government to tax the middle class without saying there are any tax hikes. So if your income is less than $145,000, you still have the option to do either Roth or traditional for the catch-up contribution. And this will also apply to people between the ages of 60 and 63 who wish to make the $10,000 catch-up contribution. And if you're curious about which retirement account to prioritize first, I always tell people to prioritize their employer match, Roth, and then tax deferred in that order. If you're still not sure what you're doing, then consider joining my private client program to get financial coaching and financial planning services. And you can schedule a free consultation with me by visiting firesightshare.com/coaching. And for those of you who have a 401k, 403b, or 457 plan, here are some ways you can contribute to your employer-sponsored retirement plan. And I'm going to go over the TSP in a little bit because that one is a little bit trickier. And you have to go by your paycheck schedule. So if your employer pays you, let's say once a month between January and December 2024, that'll be about $1,917 to max out the 401k for the entire year. Make sure that you don't max out your 401k too early, like in September or October, because then you could miss out on the employer match in November or December. You want to make sure to spread out your contributions throughout the calendar year. And if you're over the age of 50, you can schedule your contributions to $2,542 per month for the entire year. But if you get paid every 2 weeks, then it's $885 every paycheck, or $1,174 for those of you over the age of 50. And if you get paid on the 1st and the 15th, then split your contributions to 24 times between January and December, or $959 every paycheck for those under the age of 50. If you're over the age of 50, then it's $1,271 every paycheck. You want to make sure to update your contributions around the last week of December so that it'll take effect for your first paycheck in January 2024, whatever that might be. So if you're getting paid on January 5th, which is a Friday, then you want to update your contribution on December 26th at the earliest. If you have a TSP as a member of the armed forces, the contribution schedules work a little differently because your housing, food, and clothing are considered non-taxable income. And if you're a federal government employee, you can make your contribution changes on the platforms like GRB, Light Blue for the postal workers, and MyPay for the DoD employees. The platform itself is pretty self-explanatory on how to make those contribution changes. As a member of the armed forces, when you update the TSP contributions on your MyPay or Direct Access, you need to first know how much you make each month in taxable income, and you can't contribute to your TSP with your BAH or BAS because those are considered non-taxable income. Your base pay, bonuses, and incentives are considered taxable income. So if your base pay, let's say it's $3,000 a month, and you put 10% into the TSP, that means you're gonna have $300 taken out every month. And that's not every paycheck, it is every single month. So you might have to increase your TSP contribution by manually calculating between base pay, special pay, incentive pay, and bonus pay. So let me give you an example right here. Let's say your base pay is $36,000 a year and your BAH and BAS combined are $24,000 a year. That's a total of $60,000 a year, or $2,500 per paycheck in combined taxable and non-taxable income. So if you're looking to contribute 15% of your total income to your TSP every year, because you can only contribute from your base pay, then you want to calculate $60,000 multiplied by 15%, which is a total of $9,000 to your TSP in 1 year. You'll need to divide $9,000 by $36,000 and it'll give you 25%. So 25% is what you really want to input truly to get the 15% contribution rate. You can either do it traditional or Roth right here. If you only want to contribute to your Roth, then you just put 25% here, or you can do 25% here. But if you want to split it between these two, you can do 13% here and then 12% here. It's really up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do as far as what you should do between traditional and Roth because I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything about your financial situation. And I've been frustrated, especially with TSP, because it can become very confusing for people, especially those serving in armed forces. There's no annual training for this for people serving in the military. There's no training at a private sector job if you have a 401k or 403b. Your employer doesn't teach you any of this. So I'm doing everything I can to provide this type of tutorial. My financial coaching and financial planning services will always give our service members, veterans, and retirees a military discount so that we can help you plan for your future. I'm a veteran too, so I completely understand the financial stress that you're going through. And whether you have a 401k, 403b, TSP, or 457 retirement plan, I encourage you to review your contributions now before the end of the year and at the beginning of the year. Review your investment plans to make sure they're suitable to your age, risk tolerance, and your financial goals. And if you happen to be the 14% of retirement savers who max out their retirement contributions every year, make sure to change your contribution schedules right away after the very last paycheck of 2023. Just remember that every year that you miss out on the 401k contribution, you could delay your retirement and miss out on your employer match. Make sure to download my 401k calculator for absolutely free by visiting firestrategy.com/resources. You don't even need a credit card to sign up for my free membership.